There's never been a better time to join us here at onlinefishing.tv. Welcome to your world.
So then, Shane, bait, probably the most important thing about our fishing to catch the fish.
Well, it is. Without bait, you can't catch a fish. Simple as that. I mean, you can catch fish on lures, you can catch fish on plugs, things like that. But ideally, in most situations, you need bait, and you need good bait. And you need to know how to prepare and look after that bait.
So the most important things, obviously, is looking after your bait, but actually before you even get onto the beach.
Yeah, that's correct, at home, yeah. You need the right setup to look after your bait and to store it correctly, and also to take it to the beach.
Yeah.
You need the right things, especially in the summer.
Buying your bait, obviously, you need to get it from the shop and then into your fridge at home.
Yes, your fridge, your freezer, you know, whether you're buying frozen bait, fresh bait, it's very important to buy good quality bait and to keep it in the right condition.
Yeah.
All the way to being put on your hook.
So once we've got the bait from home,
yes,
we're about to leave, what do we do?
Right, okay. Well, obviously you've got the right storage facilities, hopefully at home, i.e. fridge, freezers, that's sorted, that end.
Yeah.
Right, you need to carry the bait in the correct places to the best way of getting it to the beach.
Yeah.
Which can involve using the flask for the sand eels, the cool packs, which obviously fit into the cool bags.
Yeah.
And the ice blocks also go in with the cool box.
Those are really, really important.
They're very important.
People just forget that just taking a cool box onto the beach without any ice packs in actually has a complete opposite effect.
It has an opposite effect because obviously they cook from the inside out, yes. You need to bring it down using these things which are frozen.
So if we were using, if we're going to, say for instance, take frozen mackerel and sand eels with us, what would we do? Would we just put them straight out of the freezer into a box, or do we wrap them in anything?
Well, that's quite interesting. The favourite for the sand eel, if we start with the sand eel, the favourite to transport the sand eel is the flask.
Yeah.
It's the wide mouth flask, steel flask, which you could quite easily get enough sand eels for a match in, i.e. 4 or 5 packs, and that is totally airtight, totally keeps the bait in tip-top condition. You could take a bait out individually as the sand eels come out individual out the flask. At each cast, you could bait up with a 70-part frozen sand eel, which in itself is a good plus, because a part frozen sand eel, when it hits the water, will pull out the juices far quicker as it breaks down. So
what you're saying is when you're at home, you actually take the sand eels, cut the packet, take the sand eels out of the packet and put them straight into the thermos flask.
That's correct, yes. And then transport the thermos flask to the beach to your fishing situation.
Moving from the sand eels onto the mackerel, obviously that's a much, much bigger product. You
more bulky.
Can't stick that into a thermos flask. What would you do with that?
No, what you would do with that ideally is to wrap it in newspaper and transport it either in the cool box with enough ice packs to keep that cool box well loaded.
Yeah.
Because obviously space is a big thing. You have to fill the space with the cold ice packs.
Yeah.
Also, this is why smaller items like that can be good for a couple of packs of mackerel, where you can fill up with ice blocks.
So obviously the newspapers are really important to wrap those in. If we then move from the frozen baits over to our fresh or our live baits, would you say that newspaper is as important with ragworm and lugworm?
Very much so. It acts also as an absorbent with the bait. Take out any excess juice or liquid or whatever that is in the bait, which firms the bait up, keeps it in tip-top condition, and also again that wrapped in paper with some ice blocks. Obviously be careful not to directly place the bait on the ice blocks, but keep the cold environment the same, and that will transport just as well. Probably
one tip I think that's quite useful is to say, but using fresh bait, if you've got it in a fridge, probably one of the best things you can use is a cat litter tray.
Oh, without doubt, without doubt. The cat litter trays are the key to keeping bait, because you could split the bait up into smaller proportions, keep the bait isolated in smaller units, so if the worst does happen and part of the bait goes off, you haven't lost all your bait. Spreading out bait does help.
So one of the other things is obviously you get your bait into newspaper, you put it in the newspaper, stick it in the fridge, leave it. That's not the thing to do.
That's not the thing to do.
You must check it and
Got to look after bait.
Changing paper?
Yes, changing paper. Temperatures of fridge are very important. And something that I need to stress to a lot of the shops we deliver to, the temperature of bait needs to be kept at a higher temperature in the fridges in the summer than in the winter.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're looking at outside temperatures, which the bait is used to. Coming out of those temperatures, you don't need the shock factor, especially with ragworm.
And what about with lugworm? Obviously there are a couple of different types of lugworm. We've actually got some Welsh black lugworm here. For those not necessarily putting them on top of paper and leaving them, what would you actually do with those?
We would roll those. We would roll those in what they call a wrap, which is a wrap of 10, rolled in 3 sheets of newspaper, dry newspaper, wrapped individually in a roll.
Yeah. The good thing with that is once you've done that, you can actually put those straight into a fridge and you can actually leave them. They don't need. They're stored and done.
They're done.
And if you were to take those onto a beach and you used them, but you didn't use all of them, you can actually take them back home and refreeze them.
The beauty of black lug is there's no wastage, because obviously you can freeze black lug. You can take so many for a session, use half if you don't have a particularly hectic session. The rest can go home and be frozen. And they could be just as good bait for dabs and whiting as a fresh bait.
There are plenty of programmes for the dedicated sea angler here at onlinefishing.tv. We've a host of great saltwater action from some of the world's finest sea fishing destinations. And with Sea-Watch UK, we're bringing you the only new TV series aimed specifically at shore and boat anglers, with news, views and features such as this one from the European Open Beach Championship held in February on the East Yorkshire coast.
But stories started to grow that at least 2 really big cod had been caught. One by local angler Keith Weatherstone. And it was a cracker. A shade over 6.4 kilos or 14 pounds. A tremendous cod, good enough to win any beach match. But there was more. Lowestoft angler Dave Richardson arrived with his haul, and it was even bigger. 6.7 kilos, a massive 14 3/4 pounds.
Well done, mate. Okay. Yeah. Why don't you fish back?
Hi, I'm Andy Ford and welcome to Sea-Watch UK, the only programme that's totally dedicated to British sea angling. Today we're in the Isle of Whithorn in southwest Scotland and we're going out on the boat behind us, which is called The Real Deal. We're going to see if we can catch a shark. This, however, is no ordinary shark fishing trip. Today we're taking part in Shark Tag. It's a 3-day event organised by the Scottish Sea Angling Conservation Network. Its main aims to highlight the urgent need for shark, ray and skate conservation in Scottish waters, and also to help raise the public awareness of sea angling. Today, dozens of boats will be heading out for a mass tagging session. I'm joining a team led by experienced Scottish internationals Stuart Cresswell and Willie Kennedy, at the helm here on a short journey out to our first mark.
Right, on slack, see that?
Yep, completely slack. Okay, the line's gone completely slack on this rod now, and that means that a tope's picked the bait up and is effectively swimming back towards us. And there he goes. There's
pick him up now, pick him up now.
So here we go. I'm just going to try and hit this one. Yep, he's on. Oh, that's not a bad fish.
Better fish?
Yeah, that's definitely a better fish.
Right, okay, right. We're going to get the tagging stuff sorted out. I'll put that.
That's pulling back properly, that one. I can't stop him, I'm afraid.
No, you just concentrate on your fish. Don't you worry about anything else, right? That looks like a good fish. No,
I got that.
Drag. See the drag at the front. I would give it a bit of slack. Otherwise, yeah, this is a better fish, definitely. How does it feel, Andy?
This is tremendous. I tell you what, my heart is absolutely
see him down there.
thumping.
Nice tope.
Wow, look at the size of that. What a fish!
Share onlinefishing.tv's unique access to some very special events. Here a few of Fox's coarse fishing legends find themselves all at sea.
That's a beautiful cod. How big's that? That is a 4 or 5 pound. But that is fantastic. That is some fish, that. Must have taken all of 5 minutes to get that. Fabulous.
What we're doing is actually drifting over this bit of rough ground. It's in about 200 foot of water, but obviously it's all on its own out here in a pretty featureless seabed, and a bit like any fish really, those sort of features attract the fish to them. It's where the prey are going to be, but obviously we're drifting with the tide, so we drift over. Once we're clear of that feature, skipper beeps his little horn and we reel him in. He chugs us around the other side and we start to drift again. Unfortunately, we can't anchor up. The tide is far too strong today, and the wind's a bit against us too. So we'll continue to drift, and hopefully Tesco's got enough chips to keep me keep up the speed with the cod that are coming over the side. So we'll keep on going. You reckon I'll put a boilie on, Bob?
Yeah, what flavour?
I think a good old tutti frutti and put a bit of spawn mix over the top, fella.
It'll pop up.
Oh, you bugger!
Oh, you didn't lose one.
Ah, do you think the bait's blown?
We're also showing some UK series that have been previously hard to catch, such as bass fishing with Henry Gilby.
Oh yes, fish. Oh man, they're like that just crunched me. Just like a steam train.
Don't bully it.
Exocet missile. This is bassing as to turn you on. Man, like it gives you the horns. You've got to imagine that fish just coming up from the depth and just killing that lure. This is definitely the lure of the moment. Graham, watch yourself, mate. Thank you very much, sir. Oh, yes!
Well done, mate.
Yes!
There's the Cornish rock hopping exploits of Ed Schlifke.
It all happens at once, doesn't it? Go on, Brian, dig. I suppose you've got to give it some welly, haven't you, Ashley, to get him up with that reef. Really jagged. Get him trying to get in the bottom there. It's a shame you've got to give him so much stick. Boys, we get us up in the bottom. He feels quite a good fish, this. There he is, he's coming on the surface. Over there. You clocked it in, Ash? Oh. Look at that. Oh, that's a nice fish too. And this is what we're after. All right, exotic species. Come on, Ash, I'll get... Right. All right, all yours now. How about that then? Or exotic species, a good old trigger fish. And our first ever one. All that fishing I've done has been first trigger. Hey, cheers Ashley, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
And the extensive travels of Paul Young.
Oh, God.
Let it take line, let it take line.
Oh, there it goes down. Oh, this is what we were after. This is no minnow. This is one of the monsters that we've had our eye on.
Well, it's diving back down. It's going to take a dive. There it goes.
There it goes.
See the line? Oh, is that, it's come up and turned and it's got its nose down now.
Oh.
That's it. Crash dive stopped. That was it, just come up in the tide and spun.
Yeah,
this is when you find they do the most running, when they can get moving about in the tide, they use the tide to their advantage. There you are, there's a fish.
Are we seeing it? Do you want
Yes.
me to tell me what you want me to do, Dave? Do you want me to stand up?
Just you bring it up to the way it's come
Do you want
to
me to
the
get out
surface.
of the way?
There it is.
Okay, it's running
It's a good
again.
fish. It's a good fish.
Oh, yes.
Well over 100.
You
well
reckon?
over 100.
Wow.
Right, watch, it might take a crash dive.
All right, I'm ready for it.
So just watch.
Oh, look at the fish, look at the fish, look at the fish.
Yes. That's a good skate.
Right, up and out the way.
Yep, that's you. That one we got upset, that's the first time we've ever had that. There you are. That'll probably about 180.
Let's have a wee look at it.
That is a beast.
Wow. Look at the mouth on it. Look at the mouth on it.
And we've carefully selected some top quality series from around the world.
6 kilos.
6 kilos. Now that is a solid mackerel tuna. Real bullets.
We've got really light tackle on here, just using 3 kilo line, light leaders, small hooks. I'm getting the absolute best out of these wonderful little fighting fish. I've got him right up in the shallows now. He's quite a nice dart, this one. Use that bit of water, slide him up. I'm using a very basic rig here, just a running sinker down to a swivel. If I was chasing something a little bit more finicky like a brim or a whiting, I'd probably lengthen this hook leader here between my swivel and the hook. But I've kept it quite short just to reduce the number of tangles. And a little tip that I'll give you, up here above my sinker, I've got another very small swivel just incorporated into my line. Now that really takes the line twist out. Anyone who still has trouble with their side cast reels getting a lot of line twist and tangles, put that little swivel in half a metre, even a metre above your sinker, just depending on what you're fishing for, and you won't have anywhere near as many problems with tangles.
They get bigger by the hour, these fighters of the deep. But we have been beaten by the biggest, so Wolfie will show us how to do it right. A master at work.
There's not much around the technique. The big thing is you mustn't tire yourself.
It's irritating to come ashore and be measured and to get sand in your teeth. But a shark's gotta do what a shark's gotta do.
If you're into sea fishing, then welcome to your world.
Okay, Shane. So then, the big thing is putting a sand eel on.
Right.
How do we do it? Everybody has their own way.
Yes.
And obviously, where you fish is North Wales with lots of sand eels.
Right.
So tell me the best way, if I can get a sand eel out, the best way to put that sand eel on the hook.
Right, okay. Okay, you take the sand eel. Now you want to take 2 cuts of the sand eel. Firstly, you want to take it just ahead of the gill, cover and just about a quarter of the way down the sand eel. Take the tail section. That is in effect helping the juices and the scent to come out of the eel. You take the sand eel like so, you take the hook and then you obviously feed the eel up the hook shank, keeping the point within the eel.
You never ever let it come out?
No, you don't let it come out, because then you start bursting the skin and bursting the eel. Then you need to secure the sand eel to the hook, especially if you're going to be casting any distance. And the best thing we find for that is elasticated cotton, a fine variety. This variety is called Gold Zac, can be bought in any fine haberdasheries. So like so, you bind the sand eel to the hook.
So you've gone up and down that? And
I've gone up and down once, and I will again repeat the process down to secure the sand eel.
Do you tie a knot?
I do not tie a knot, because this fine elastic will bite into the sand eel, and when you break it off it won't unravel.
Right.
It'll sit where it's been broken, like thus. As you can see, there's no unravelling there, and all you want to do then is pull down your bait stop to stop the bait from moving up the line when casting, and there is a presented sand eel bait.
And that's perfect, because you can see the blood that's just coming out at the bottom of the eel, and that's basically straight where the fish is going to go.
That's the attractant. That's the attractant. All fish feed on scent, and that is an attractant, all bottom feeding fish.
And a good point there as well is you've got a sequin on there, and that basically holds the sand eel in place.
Yes.
So that if it does slip a little bit, you've got that there just holding it up against the stop knot.
The sequin will hold it and keep it to the hook point, where obviously the action end of the hook.
Perfect.
Where you need the hook to be, or the fish to be taking the hook.
And that would be your key dogfish bait, wouldn't it?
That's a key dogfish bait without any
skate.
doubt. And in larger varieties, the same principle, a skate bait.
Yeah.
And a bullhuss bait.
Sand eels actually come in different sizes.
They come in different sizes. They come in 4 or 5 different sizes. They come in small, medium, large, extra large, and what they call jumbo.
And there's also something, there's a launch, yeah.
There's a launch, yeah.
And that's what they call a greater sand eel.
That's a greater sand eel, which is very effective fished in large chunks for bigger species.
Perfect.
Again, the same principle, using the elasticated cotton to secure the launch to the hook.
Brilliant.
Hi, I'm Andy Ford and welcome to another edition of Sea Watch. Now this one is going to be a little bit special. We're on the west coast of Ireland in County Mayo for the Helm Skate Festival. The guys in the boats behind me, there are 14 boats, 140 anglers, are going out into Clew Bay to try and catch a massive common skate. Now these things are so rare we may not see one the whole weekend. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we see a fish or two. Well, we've got 14 boats to get around today, and we can't do that without a bit of help. So the guys from the Western Fishery Board, Alan and Arthur, are providing us with a taxi service. So let's get out there and see if we can catch a skate.
Okay, Shane, so we've got some beautiful ragworm here.
Yes. Yes,
these are called king rag, aren't they?
They're king rag, yes. They're the king rag. Yes.
So putting these on a hook, there's a number of ways, but probably the easiest way, thread it straight on the hook.
Thread it straight on the hook. Would you like me to do that?
Oh, I would do.
Just take the ragworm accordingly, take the hook point and the ragworm, again, pass the hook point through the head of the ragworm, feed the ragworm up the hook point, like so, keeping the hook in the worm at all times, depending on what size of bait you require. Nip the bait accordingly. There is the finished article.
There's a lot of juice that come out of that, wouldn't there?
Yes, there is. There's a lot of scent, a lot of juice, and it's very attractive to a whole host of species. Again, we will pull down the bait stop, which will stop the bait from moving up the line when casting, and that couldn't be a finer bait, all ready to go to the seabed.
There's never been a better time to join us here at onlinefishing.tv. Welcome to your world.